Hey lovers, it's your girl Diva. It is super early in the morning. Yes, for those who are following me on Facebook, I am still braiding, so I'm about on the last row, and hopefully there'll be some pictures if I feel like taking a selfie, but I don't know. It doesn't always come. I have to be in the mood for the whole social media selfie share mode, right? So, thanks everybody for tuning in. You guys are almost there. You are actually only a few numbers off from the download goal. So, I appreciate it. Thank you for tuning in to all the streaming platforms and for finding me during International Podcast Month, finding me on Podchasers. I thought that was really hype. Like, I got all super excited and telling Honey, like, I really thought I was something. Well, I am something. Damn it. No, joking. But, like, I literally just got super excited because Podchasers is basically like a group of 5 guys, I think, out of Australia, just came together and said, let's put together the IMDb type profile for podcasters. And so just to find myself legit, like every show that I am the creator, host, and producer of is on podchasers.com. So all I need is you guys to just click on there and give me some love and reviews in International Podcast Month, and I will love you. You can do I love her, I hate her, her dialogue gets on my nerves, her voice gets on my nerves. I really like Diva. She makes me think. You can do whatever you want to do. You can get in your feels or out your feels. All I need is a review, right? I'm hoping that I get some 4 and 5s, but when I come up with certain topics that'll bring my little ratings down, right? So let's get on into it. All right, my sweet lovers. So we're getting into the topic today. So why are so many white Americans moving overseas? And is that a conversation that we need to really talk about, especially in the state that America is in right now with the racism and things that are going on? Are the good ones leaving and leaving us with the racists? Because then we have a lot to worry about. If white supremacists are grounded and rooted, and the ones that are not white supremacists are leaving. Okay, yeah. So that just gave you all the food for thought that you really need, and you can go ahead and click off. But if you care, then you'll stay with the conversation, right? So here's the advantage of being in the state that I'm in. So the state that I'm in, 3.9% of African Americans live is all that's in Colorado, right? Only 3.9%. So you tend to hear more white conversations than you hear black conversations. But I'm so deeply rooted in all things black, I have no worries about that because, I'm connected to a lot of people all over the globe. So I could get my still well-rounded life, right? But by the majority, some real-time, real-life conversations happen in the office. So you get to hear a lot of things and you're like, so that's how, sis didn't know that's how y'all roll, right? But there's just a lot of things that, especially when you're Diva, because I'm the type of person that anyone that's been with me knows that this happens. I can be at the grocery store, I can be in the office, I can be in the break room, anywhere that I am, people come up to me. And it goes from, hello, how are you? Because that's just something that you should do. Even me, everywhere I go, I'm saying, first and foremost, I'm speaking to my sisters and my brothers, right? So I'm saying, hello, how are you? And if I'm in the office setting, I'm going to be a little bit more cordial and give you that hello first. I tend to pull back a little bit in Colorado because white people tend to have this I'm better than you attitude. Why'd you walk in the door first? I'm supposed to walk in the door first. Go sit on the back of the bus kind of attitude when you're on the light rail or bus, So it's just like a lot happens here that you have to kind of pull back. If they give you the hello, then you give them the hello back. That's sis rules here, right? Those are hashtag Ask Diva rules, because they're not all friendly. And I hate to just go all out of my way, like for my sisters, I'm going to go all out of my way to give you my good and positive energy hello, because you earned that, right? But if I go all out of my way and say hello and then it ends up being a racist and they give me the snot look, a whole bunch of things happen to me and I have to really pull back, so I have to back and give myself 50 feet from whooping that ass, right? So things like that happen. But back to the subject at hand. So 3.9% of African Americans make up the blacks that live in Colorado. So I tend to hear a lot of conversations, and I was thinking I collect things over time before I make it a subject, and then I look up some things. So here's the thing. These are 3.9% of African Americans is the most recent that you will find of African Americans living in Colorado. That's the most recent numbers. So you can do your research on that. That's a fact. Also, I'm going to say some things about Washington Post sort of put some numbers out, but Washington Post did say that there is no real data being kept of how many Americans are overseas, right? So there's no real process of that. So there's just really more like an estimate. So when you go trying to fact check the diva with your Google education, make sure that you know that these are just kind of like the rest of the numbers that I'm going to throw out to you are just, they're up in the air, right? But roughly about 9 million Americans have moved overseas since 2016. So that's pretty big. That's pretty big. And then I was watching another journalist talk about the record number of Americans that are living in Mexico, and how they're, you have to go over there and check that out. Go to my YouTube and you probably can find it in my history. Askdeva, Askdeeva. So you can find it in my history. And he was talking about the white Americans living over there illegally. Diva, don't you change that subject, right? So here's some of the numbers that are going on right here. So it says in Canada, you have about this roughly, okay, estimated. I have a lot of checker type people. I have to do that too, right? So in Canada, you have about 316,000 to a million. Russia, you have 30,000. These are Americans. New Zealand, you have about 17,751. Australia, 56,276. Rough numbers that are over there, right? So that bit brings the conversation that I hear often all the time. I'm seeing them sell their homes. I'm seeing them sell their homes by big numbers. And they are moving into a lot of these dot-comer type living style houses. So that's those boxes, with a website on the side of the building telling you how to find their apartment complex. And they're moving into these boxed in type apartment. I don't know if they even call them apartments, but they're moving into these box things that are just being thrown up all over the place, right? They're selling their homes. And then a lot of the conversation from the younger people are like, oh yeah, my parents just moved to, Canada. My parents just moved to Brazil. My parents just moved to Australia. And a lot of, this is before, not all just about retirement. Like they moved over there, they got a job. Right? Americans are going over there and getting jobs. So and these are people not, like I said, at retirement age. What are they going to do? And why is so many of them that are not really heavily opinionated about white supremacy? Like they're just kind of leaving that conversation alone, some of them. Or if they have it in the cordial way that I used to respect about Texas, that it was just kind of like secret and hidden in some sheets somewhere in a back shed, Cheryl She Shed, right? Like they that's how far out the way they go to just have their conversations about hating blacks. But you can appreciate that when you're living in Texas, because you're like, yeah, go your ass somewhere and have that conversation, not in my face, because if you have it in my face, my reaction cannot be controlled. My reflex is bad, right? So I respect that. But there are other parts where they're really bold. But those aren't the people that are moving. Those people are grounded. They intend to burn crosses and continue to wear bandanas on their face and hide under those sheets. That is what they intend to do to the end of time. You know, that's why they don't want Colin Kaepernick taking no knee, you know? They don't want you saying anything disrespectful that they will then say that you said it against the flag. You know, like, they have, like, they are just grounded in America. They are kind of the ones that you kind of wish would leave. They're not going anywhere. That's why they're always like, go back to where you came from. Where did I come from? I came from your daddy's sperm. Don't get me started. Like, I'll just say, like, some off the wall, like, awful stuff when they say stuff to me. And then they have to think about it. Just like, where did you come from? Your auntie had you and gave you over to your mama after she slept with your brother and daddy and grandpa? Like, just really awful stuff that shouldn't be said to any human, right? But they said it to us. That's my retaliation reflex when you say go back to where you came from, kind of thing. You know, bitch, get some land over there in Africa, hook a sister up, sister will go, right? But anyway, all of those thoughts aside, like, they're moving overseas in huge numbers. This is comedy, people, so some people like get on here and they get like really tight butthole hurt, like there's like really loose hole hurt, and then there's tight butthole hurt. So I have to really be careful about the things that I say, especially when I'm tired from braiding my hair all day, right? Let me make a part. So anyway, so I'm not even paying attention. You guys have me messing up my hair, messing around with my lovers this early in the morning. But so they're moving overseas. So here's the food for thought for us. Why? Like, you guys aren't just gonna go and just ask why, and then when we look at, there are things that we're told over the years, right? When we're being responsible and we sit down and we have a really responsible conversation, we are told it takes a village, right? So we understand that. So you're not confused about that. So it takes a village, and if it takes a village, here's what my fear is. Is our village ready? Because we're highly distracted by hot girl booties and hot girl summer. Like, we are distracted by men stepping out on relationships. We are distracted by husbands that are divorcing wives. We are distracted by little snitch 6ix9ine. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're distracted by a lot of things right now. We are extremely distracted. While we're distracted, I don't mind scaling back, relaxing, having fun with all the different topics and jokes and things that are going out there. And Cardi B did what? And, Beyonce. And, like, I don't mind all those things, right? Everybody has a little downtime. But you can't have so much downtime that you stay down, right? Like, the persons that I'm talking about, like, that's like the person that stays on welfare, and doesn't do anything but watch Jerry Springer all day and Maury Povich, and you know what I'm saying? Like, man, did you see Maury? And then her name was Kalisha Laka, and then like they know like the whole story every day, all year long. Like, that's too much damn time. You guys, when Power comes on, no, shouts out to Power. I'm not coming from you, Power. But when Power comes on, you all have to be on there watching it when it comes on. You can't record it. You have to be the one that watched it first or you die. Like, that's too much downtime. You know what I'm saying? Like, you need to wake up just a little bit. Like, I understand being distracted a little bit, yes. Downtime, yes. But don't get so distracted that you're unaware. So the village is just cutting up. It's been cutting up even more so as the increase of African Americans being mistreated in the system, and being mistreated when being pulled over. Communities of incidents where people are dying, right? So there's a lot of things going on where it's like, how woke are you? And then you got distracted with dividing yourselves with this I'm woker than you conversation. My hair is more natural than you. No, bitch. My naps are like next level naps, bitch. You ain't got naps like this. Like, if you guys are so damn distracted, and it's like, oh my God, we're having a conversation about who has the nappiest hair. What are we doing here? What are we doing here, right? So, in all of this, jokes aside, in all of this, You guys are not paying attention to what's going on. Why are they selling their homes? Are you guys even paying attention to the conversation about the recession likely, more than likely, going to take place in 2020? Do you have money put back? Are you, what is it that you have a money plan? Jobs are going to be scarce because businesses might shut down. Retail is shutting down by huge numbers. Anyone paying attention to that? Retail is the majority of jobs that a lot of people have. Why? Because that's really pretty much the only place that they really like to hire us, right? So I am thankful that I can work in corporate world, but I am aware of my invite into corporate world is not like, oh, Diva, you so special. It is not. It has nothing to do with degrees, knowledge, any of those. There is a percentage of blacks that have to be allowed a job, or the company could go down for a whole bunch of lawsuits, right? So there's a percentage that they have to keep, and so I'm always in that percentage when I find myself, especially even more so here than it was in Texas. When I find myself in an office, it's always in that little small number of people, and we all talk alike, right? We all know how to read well, speak well, talk well, especially when I'm not joking. I like to joke a lot and just, but I have to remember that my comedy is on Dave Chappelle level. It's not always received. That cracked me up. But anyway, so not all of us speak this way, and I get it, and it's a gift, and I give this all to my mother and my father and my grandmother and auntie and just the people that I've been to in my life that really just didn't allow, there was just a lot of pressure on the system to be on another level, and just begin putting that into me early in life, subliminally, with book reading. My mother required a book report every Friday, and yes, we used to go and do things, especially if it was highly favored by God. No, like we used to do things, but we had to do a book report every Friday, and it wasn't just, oh, I read a book and it was cute, mommy. No, like I didn't get to do that. Like we had to comprehend. So if you turned in a book report, but it didn't seem like you did, it did not seem like you comprehended what was happening in the story that you read, then you had to go read that same book again the next week, and all those kind of things. But that was really great stuff. And so implement it into the children's lives. You will be amazed at what that brings, because they are going to be more entertained by books than they ever will be by television or games, right? So, but, so there's a smaller percentage, and you get yourself caught up in conversations and you find out things, and they are by record numbers moving overseas, leaving us here to the devastation that is America right now, the division that is America right now, the high levels of racism and attacks and disrespect and lack of jobs and keeping people down and keeping the minimum wage as low as possible and raising it in some places, but in the places where they raise it, they raise the rents and mortgages up to where it's almost impossible to get in that game, especially if you show up and your credit's not in perfect order, right? So it's very hard to find your place. And yeah, you get here and the minimum wage is great and it's nice, and I thank goodness for the numbers that can be offered on jobs, but at the same time, they really don't say yes on most applications for blacks. You know what I'm saying? Like, so there's just like, right? So it's not about us. The system was never designed for us. It's something that you'll always hear me say when I'm having my super serious conversations. But I know on the podcast I have to keep it a little, because people will click off of here. But honestly, like the system was never designed for us. So what are you going to do, Black America, if they all do leave us here? Are you preparing your children with the mindset to join police forces, to join the military, so that they can have the skills necessary to be ready? Because we don't know what's coming. Why are they leaving us here with the racists? You know what I'm saying? Open carry. Make sure you are. Like, why are they leaving us here? What's the real plan? You know, so you got this president in office and he wants to keep the international connections at the highest level, and making sure that things are really changing and doing weird things like shaking North Korea's hand. Is he planning to just get all the people that they like out of here, and once they're all gone, is something bad going to happen? Are we going to blow up into smithereens? Like, those are thoughts that you need to have. Yes, okay, it's funny. 6ix9ine's on trial and he's snitching. I really, honestly, here's something that's going to piss you off for the hip-hop people that know. If you don't know who the 6ix9ine is, then, that's my other side of people, and you guys just need to go to Google. Go to Twitter. But anyway, I honestly don't think that dude was real from the get. He came out too loud. He was just too loud and too much going on all the time. So I really think he was planted as a snitch from the get. I think he was planted as an industry snitch from the get, because it seems like the plan right now when it comes to entertainment is take down the black man, take down the minority woman, take everybody down. It's all whites are back to singing all of our songs while we actually record it in the studio and then the white face performs it on the stage. Like, we're going back all the way back to that era right now. And then you have an attitude with Beyonce. Like, you mad at the wrong Jay-Z. Y'all are mad at the wrong people. They are trying to at least make us relevant still, because they are trying to delete us by the droves. Destroying the likes of so many. And then taking same cases. Harvey Weinstein might go home and retire and live like nice for the rest of his life when his trial is over. But Bill Cosby is going to rot in jail. Same sin. They're making it very, very clear where we stand. So how ready are you? How ready are you? And is that the reason why international artists are a really big deal, and they're bringing all these international artists over music awards, right? And the international artists are getting the awards, and then they're going back over there and they're networking, and then they're putting all this money and bringing American artists over there to perform all the time. Like, they're leaving America to hell. And while they're over there living the life, I'm old, so this term is going to come from old. But they're over there living the life of Riley. And we're over here about to go through pure hell. Recession? How long is it going to last? They're prepared. They're selling their homes. They have their money in their overseas bank accounts. They can fly overseas. They're making sure that they get the star on their ID. The real ID, Texas. If you don't have that, you won't be able to leave too. You get it? Like, you see everything that's going on? So it's like, you won't even be able to take a flight, I think, right? Yeah, you won't. If you don't have the star on your ID, you will not even be able to get on a plane and go live with grandmama them if they kick you out. That's serious stuff. So that's it, you guys. I am going to go ahead and get off of here. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you think of that, and what kind of research you guys come up with, and counteract me if you must. Main thing, just go over to podchasers.com and look up Ask Diva Show and give me some stars. If you could just give me 4 to 5 stars, I will be on here for a long, long time. If you give me 1 to 2 stars, it won't really matter, because I'm still going to be on here for a long, long time. So there's that. So you can give me a bad review or a good review. It doesn't matter. Just go over there and give us sister something, right? So it's International Podcast Month, and that would be your gift to me as I try to give you this gift as often as I can, right? So shout out to everybody for tuning in. Thank you for listening on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, YouTube, Spotify, Castbox, Instagram stories, Facebook stories, and wherever you're tuning in from. Follow me on social media, Miss Diva for You, MZDEEVA, the number 4 YOU, and you know it. Tell your friend to tell a friend. I don't even feel like saying it this morning. No, I'm joking. I'm so awful to my own show. But I am my own band. Like, let me tell a funny. This is really funny. And only the people that don't mind laughing with me will laugh. But other than that, just go. You're gone. You hate me anyway. So, there's this, time when we went out. And it was years ago, and my cousins will laugh. My sister will laugh. But we went out to a nightclub in San Antonio, Texas. And I think it was off of Rigsby. And so we went to it was when Rigsby wasn't so bad, right? And we went over to this nightclub, and the guy at the door was checking IDs. So it's like a little hole in the wall, right? So he checks our IDs, and we're like, yay, thanks. And then he's like, go over to the cash register to pay to get in. And so we go over to the cash register. This is going to be relevant to Diva in just a second. Just stay with me. So we go over to the cash register, and we're like, pay to get in. We're like, oh, there's nobody here. Where's the person at? After he goes through the whole line checking IDs, he runs around to the back and he takes the cash, right? So he takes the cash, and we're like, oh, okay. Wow, he's doing 2 jobs, poor guy, So then we go over, and he, tells us, sit the tables and hang out, whatever. So we find our tables, and we're like, okay, let's order some drinks. So we get ready to order some drinks, and the guy that took our money to let us in the door put on an apron, and he came and took our orders for our drinks. Right? So I'm like, oh my God, they're just overworking you poor guy. So we're thinking, get drunk and get this guy some tips, right? That's just what you do. So we're just back in the day. The Diva doesn't do things like that anymore. But anyway, so we're drinking, and this guy's taking our orders and going through the club. It's just a hole in the wall. So he's taking everybody's orders, right? And then, but he motivated me for life. And then he goes, and we're waiting for our drinks, and we're like, golly, it's kind of taking a long time. What's behind the bar? We look behind the bar. This is no lie. Dude was making the drinks. Like, so it was so epic. It was like an episode of that one in Living Color, 13 Jobs. Like, I mean, he really he was doing it all. Like, he checked us in, he took our cash, he took our order, he made our drinks. He said, y'all don't have to go home, but y'all got to get the hell out of here line. Like, he did all of that. He was the DJ. Like, it was just phenomenal. But the point of it, it was really bad. He needed an employee, or at least a volunteer. But the point of it is, that's me. Like, I'm the producer, I'm the host, I'm the editor, I'm the everything on the Ask Diva show. There are people that have people helping them do things. Diva doesn't have that. I do all this because nobody ever wants to stay on board. Like, people will come and they'll be like, oh, I'm going to help you, Diva, and we're going to go places. And then they'll go do their own show. And you're like, oh, what the hell happened to you? Like, once you learn how to do everything, then you go take it and do your own thing. So because I'm always getting left, or maybe my jokes are bad. It's probably because my jokes are bad. They're like, Diva, I don't want to volunteer help you with none of your jokes. Sorry. You need a career. I don't know. But anyway, you guys, so that's how I feel. So that's why I need you to go to podchasers.com, look for my show, and give me some stars in International Podcast Month. In your post, please put hashtag International Podcast Month, hashtag ASKDEEVA, all those things. Hashtag podcast, hashtag give a damn about a sister, all that. Like, could you do that for me, right? And that's all that I have for today's show. So tell your friend to tell another friend. The Diva's tired of asking you asses to support. Like, just could you guys just support Sexy Chocolate? No, I'm joking. It's the braids, you guys. Like, I'm so tired of braiding my hair. I'm still exhausted from last night. Like, one more funny. What did I tell? So I was like bitching, and it's so bad. Like, I feel bad for Honey because no one should be around me when I'm braiding, because look at me, like, I'm already cursing. Like, so I tend to like really go into super curse mode, right? So I'm cursing, and then this, he's sweet, so he's entertaining himself, just looking up every once in a while, like, wow, when she's gonna ever start get the braids in, right? But so I'm cursing, and then I just kind of have like a thought, and I look at him, and I'm like, don't judge me. So I'm like, if you're gonna sit up here, he didn't have a thought in the world, but I just decided to pick a fight because I'm mad, because my hands hurt because I'm braiding. So I'm like, if you wanted a girl that doesn't cuss, you should have slutted around the church for one. It was awful, but it was so funny in the middle of the night. Like, I cracked myself up because I was so tired. So yes, I braid my hair, host my show, produce my show, edit my show, write my books, edit my books, and then you guys complain. The nerve. Joking. You guys have a great Saturday morning.